everybody. It's nice to see you again. This is Jack Randall Earles, the man in the chair. And today we're going to talk to the directors of the plays and musicals in the Putnam County Playhouse 2022 61st season. We're going to start by talking with Caroline Good, who is directing the musical Oliver, which will be presented in June. Hi, Caroline.
Hi, Jack.
Oh, it's so nice to see you.
You too.
You know, people don't realize that we don't get to see each other when there's no season. So we all come back together, and it's like a little reunion. Mm-hmm. Now, as we're talking now, you are about 2.5 weeks into rehearsal for Oliver, and I watched a little bit of the choreography this afternoon being taught. It's really, really enjoyable, really enjoyable. I know that the audiences are really going to like it. It's been a few years since we've done Oliver, but you know, everywhere you look, someone's doing it. If you look online, there are lots of productions. Why do you think Oliver is what some people would call a classic musical?
Well, I think it's universal. I think it speaks to, Charles Dickens was a master writer, and he addressed a lot of social concerns that we can identify with even now. And just his writing and his story, when he created Oliver, it just was originally written as a serial, and people couldn't wait to find out what was happening to Oliver next, So it was like they were tuned in, kind of like we watch Netflix and the next, when's the next season and the next episode is going to come out. Well, that's kind of how it was. So he had to write the story in such a way that it would, keep you on your toes. And I think that connection is what people really love to come, and then have the music put to the story, I think and the music is obviously so very catchy. I think that makes it a classic. It's catchy, it's brilliant, it's beautiful, it's heartwarming, it makes you cry and laugh, and,
Yes.
It's just...
Yes, well, I agree. It certainly is all of those things. And of course, the film version won Best Picture, I think it was 1968. Mm-hmm. And back then it was a little more rare for a musical film to win the Best Picture Academy Award. Mm-hmm. Now, I was looking at your cast list, and I saw some familiar names that our audiences will be very familiar with. Mm-hmm. Karen Temple, Chris Worcester, Tim Good, T.J. Tincher, Sandy Rossick, Ashley Vitz. Mm-hmm. And I also saw a lot of new names. Mm-hmm. Now, I love to see new people come and get involved in Playhouse. If anybody ever wants to do a show, just come to auditions. How do you, as a director, get that group together, that group of people who may have been on stage a few times, and then those people who come and maybe this is their first show here, or maybe even their first show ever? How do you make them into a group?
Well, I think with this particular cast, I haven't really had to do much. I think it's the group that we have cast that came out for the show are such genuinely welcoming people that it's been easy for everyone to create this cohesive ensemble. And I mean, I always try to make that extra effort to do that. Unfortunately, we started right off the bat. We have to kind of pick, the play apart, and we have to find, sections of the play to rehearse in a efficient way to get everything done. So there's rarely a time when we can put everybody together. So on Thursday nights, usually, whatever we worked on that week, we try to stumble through. And that's when we all come together. So at the beginning and the end, we all have a kind of little Bauhaus and, talk. And just this last Thursday night, for instance, Eleanor came out, Eleanor Howard, she's our dramaturg and our dialect coach. She came out and she gave us a little history about Charles Dickens, Oliver Twist, the workhouse, all this really interesting and, vivid imagination information that she could give to us so that they could flesh out their characters. And that was really a fun back and forth. They asked her questions and doing that. So that's been a way to get a cohesive group, I think.
Yes. Well, Can you mention a few of the new names or people, some of the performers who our audience might not be as familiar with?
Yeah, we have David Johnson. He's coming from Hendrix. He's playing Bill Sykes.
Oh,
A lot of people have come back. We have Kathy Elliott and Jim Elliott. They've been here
yes.
before. John Tischer and his two girls. His daughter one is Oliver, and the other one is Nipper.
oh. Oh, so she's playing the title role.
And we have our Artful Dodger is Alex Gernon, and his brother Cyrus Gernon is captain. So they bring a lot to the show too.
Oh, yes.
And Ashley Hughes, I think she was in
Oh,
Joseph, but we
yes.
didn't get to do Joseph.
Yes.
And then some high school, Hannah McLaughlin, Clay Glessner, and Emily Gray. They're high schoolers that have come out. They're going to play a lot of different roles.
Okay, well, I didn't even mean to put you on the spot.
Yeah,
I'm
no, that's
sorry.
okay. We have
Don't wanna
so we
leave
have
anyone out.
a lot of new people, a lot of seasoned people, and it's nice to see them all welcoming and jumping in too. The new ones are jumping in, the old ones are welcoming. It's great.
Yes. Well, you mentioned Eleanor as the dialect coach. You know, each of the characters in Oliver, the dialect or their voice really tells who they are and what class they are, and what may be in their future even. Are you working on that then with
yes.
everybody?
Yes. So Mr. Brownlow, for instance, he would be speaking the standard British dialect, or what is called RP, that the very proper kind of speaking.
Yes.
And then you have, Fagin and all of the kids are in London, then doing the Cockney accent, which is a lower class, working class dialect. But you also have to work with the Cockney in such a way that it can be understood.
Yes.
And it's
Yes.
exclusive to London. So you have, a lot of those scenes taking place in London, but you also have the beginning scenes in the workhouse takes place at least 7 miles away. So it's not London. So those dialects, Eleanor's done some research, Widow Corney, Tim Good, the Mr. Bumble, and some of those workhouse characters are actually speaking in that dialect. So trying to keep those all consistent will be challenging, but so far they're doing a great job.
Oh, well, that sounds very exciting. Now, I know it's early in rehearsal. What musical sequences or songs in the show are your favorites?
Well, Who Will Buy is one of my favorites. I was the Strawberry Seller when I was like 18 in college. So I've always had an affinity for that song. We haven't staged that yet. We're getting ready to do that this week. So I'm excited about that. Be Back Soon. We just staged that with the kids today, and it's really cute. Pick a Pocket or Two is classic. It's delightful. It's absolutely delightful. T.J. Tincher as Fagin he's going to be such a hit. He's so funny.
I'm sure.
Yeah, and there's a couple that are going to steal a show, and that's going to be Andrew Rank and Ashley Vitz as the Sourberries.
Goodness.
We can't forget them.
Oh, my goodness. Everyone else may as well leave the stage.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
And of course, Boy for Sale. I mean, yeah, I can't pick a favorite. Yeah.
I know it would be hard. Thinking about that, and you're certainly familiar with our audiences as not only as a director of productions, but also appearing on stage in many shows. Is there any particular sequence that you think our audience will enjoy the most in this production?
Oh, that's hard to pick. I think Who Will Buy it's going to be hard not to cry during that. It's just so sweet and so adorable. And it's when, Oliver's starting to come into his own and finding his real family is when we start seeing the little glimpses of that. So I think that will be a nice little treasured moments for the audience.
A lovely show to bring your family to. Maybe introduce some of your younger children to theater if you don't want to appear on stage, at least watching it. Okay, Oliver is sponsored by Shuey's Great Bites Plus. It will be on stage on June 2nd through the 4th and June 8th through the 11th. Tickets, individual tickets go on sale on Sunday, May 29th at 3 p.m. at the annual open house. So please join us for our first show of the season, the Tony Award winning musical Oliver. And thank you, Caroline, very much.
Thank you, Jack.